As the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Cline, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here again. I got to speak to you last week on the Labor HHS sub, and appreciate you being here. Earlier, you stated that gain-of-function research was not directly or indirectly funded, and that U.S. taxpayer dollars did not go to the Wuhan laboratory. Is that a correct statement?
The National Institute of Health and HHS does not fund I lost it.
Gain of function.
Gain of function, thank you very much. It's a long day. Gain of function research, and certainly not directly to, or even indirectly to Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Okay. I'm looking at a letter from October 20th, 2021, where a top NIH official responded to Ranking Member Comer that EcoHealth Alliance, a nonprofit that has sent U.S. funds to the Wuhan lab, had not been transparent in their work. So apparently there were funds that were sent from NIH to the EcoHealth Alliance and from the EcoHealth Alliance to the Wuhan lab. Would you agree with that?
You're now speaking about Ecolab and some of the funding it may have done with some of its subs. You asked me about direct or indirect funding by NIH, and I've said to you that we do not do direct or indirect funding to the Wuhan lab.
Okay, you wouldn't call that indirect funding?
For the gain-of-function research issues, no. As far as I know, we have not done any direct, we have not contracted with someone to do direct or indirect research on gain-of-function.
What would you call it when money is sent from a government agency to a sub, EcoHealth Alliance, and then directly to Wuhan lab for the purpose of gain-of-function research?
I say, show me what you got. Just let me see what makes you say that.
Well, the letter I have is from your NIH on October 20th. And it states that EcoHealth Alliance did send money to the Wuhan lab.
To do gain-of-function research?
The gain-of-function research was occurring, and that was known to NIH that it was occurring when the grant was asked for.
Read to me, please, where it says that the NIH funded Ecolabs to do gain-of-function research through the indirect funding of Wuhan Institute.
What I'm saying is that the EcoHealth Alliance received money from the
Well, okay, you can confuse a number of things together to try to
federal
reach
government.
a conclusion, but that doesn't mean that we funded gain-of-function research.
If the money from NIH went to Ecolabs and Ecolabs funded the Wuhan lab efforts at gain-of-function research, that is indirect funding.
Congressman, are you asserting that the only funding or the only research that Ecolabs does is with Wuhan and only on gain-of-function research?
Are you insinuating that somehow money is not fungible and that money provided from the federal government doesn't somehow support efforts to do something that an entity could be engaged in at the same time?
I'm trying to answer your question. Your question was, does the federal government, does HHS, or does NIH fund gain-of-function research to the Wuhan lab of research that the Wuhan Institute of Virology does? And I said to you, no.
Well, money is fungible, as you well know, and I would argue to the contrary. And so if you don't wish to amend or clarify your statement, I'll just...
I think it's clear, Congressman.
I think it's intentionally evasive on the part of you and on the part of NIH to avoid taking responsibility for funding gain-of-function research.
Congressman, I don't want to be evasive. I just want to respond to your question as you posed it. If you want me to answer the question about whether Ecolab may do any other types of research or fund others, that might be a different question. But you're asking if we, the federal government, are funding the Wuhan Institute of Virology to do gain-of-function research, and the answer is no.
Well, Ecolabs knows that they funded it. NIH knows that Ecolabs funded it. You know that they funded it. The American people know that they funded it. And I'm disappointed in the evasion today. I yield back.
Does the gentleman have any interest in submitting documentation for the record?
Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to submit the letter from Ecolab to NIH for the record.
Okay, without objection. Gentleman's time has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Boyle, for 5 minutes.